Now, from the WCCO Live Desk, you're watching CBS News Minnesota.
I'm Maria Lizignoli. Thanks for joining us at the Live Desk. Today, the Minnesota Department of Public Safety held a news conference about a nearly 40-year-old missing person case. According to the Minnesota BCA, in November of 1987, then 23-year-old Carla Anderson went missing after last being seen in her apartment in Wadena, Minnesota. Foul play is suspected in her disappearance, as all her personal belongings remained in the home. The BCA says she is a vulnerable adult and has not been seen or heard from since. There is a $25,000 reward for information leading to the whereabouts of Carla Anderson and the person responsible for her disappearance. Here's more from a press conference with more on the case.
Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us live stream and being here in the room. It's much appreciated. So Friday, November 13th, 1987, was a big night for Carla. She had received an award from her former Hardee's employer where she worked and celebrated with her mother and her stepfather by going out to dinner and renting movies. They dropped Carla off at her apartment, which is also known as the Greenwood Apartments, located near 2nd Street Northwest and Hemlock Avenue. This was around 8 p.m. that Friday night, and no one has seen her since. Here's what we know. Carla's apartment door was locked and her purse was still inside. There were no signs of a break-in and no signs of a struggle. The only things missing from her apartment were her keys and her Hardee's jacket. We found one of the rented movies still inside her VCR. Carla was a vulnerable adult, and we are confident she would not have chosen to disappear. At the time of her disappearance, she was only 4 feet 10 inches tall, 80 pounds, strawberry blonde hair, and blue eyes. At the time, over the past almost nearly 40 years, our investigators, those with the Wadena County Sheriff's Office and the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, have spent thousands of combined hours in the effort to find Carla. Our investigators have conducted hundreds of interviews with potential witnesses and suspects. We have pursued, re-examined, and exhausted hundreds of tips and leads. But someone knows what happened. Someone knows. That is why today we are hopeful that a reward of up to $25,000 from Spotlight on Crime will help generate some new information. Anyone with that information that will help investigators locate Carla is urged to contact our police department here in Wadena or the BCA. If you have information that can lead us to Carla, you could receive that money. And I want to repeat that. If you have information leading us to Carla, you could receive that money. So we would like to have answers for her family. They've been waiting nearly 40 years. Next, I'd like to have Dan Anderson, Carla's brother. He'd like to share a few words about her today.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. I especially want to send out a special thanks to the Wadena Police Department, BCA, all the other agencies that have not let Carla just evaporate into thin air. It's easy to, say, okay, it's been 40 years, there's no sense in looking at this anymore, but we've been in contact fairly regularly, and we know that they're putting in a lot of work to this. My sister Carla, she was like any other young woman. She fiercely independent, loved her family, loved all the family gatherings. We had lots of big gatherings on our family. She had a niece that was only a few years old at the time she disappeared. I think a lot about, now obviously there's more nieces and nephews that she's missed out on. We've missed out on that. So her whole future's gone. Just fiercely independent, loved living on her own, making her own money, doing her own thing. Again, loyal to her friends. And a good person, happy, you know, just a really good person, and we miss her a lot.
Well, good afternoon. I am Drew Evans, and I am the superintendent of the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. I want to start by saying that how sorry I am to Carla's family, her father, brothers, and loved ones that are here today, all of our family and the Wadena community, that we don't have more answers for you at this point in time. But that's what today is about, is to keep working on this case together as a community and collectively so that we can bring her home. The nonprofit organization Spotlight on Crime is offering up to a $25,000 reward for information leading to the whereabouts of Carla Anderson. We fully believe that somebody knows information that will help solve this case. We hope this reward will encourage somebody to come forward with that information. We understand in some cases that witnesses are reluctant to come forward, and we also understand that in nearly 40 years it may be more difficult to get justice for her family. And so this reward is for information that will help investigators find Carla. Spotlight on Crime is offering this $25,000 reward to encourage witnesses or somebody with information to come forward and share what they know. Spotlight on Crime is a partnership between law enforcement, community, and Minnesota businesses. The rewards are funded by donations, which are made available to help solve crimes. We are grateful to the Spotlight on Crime for wanting to support the effort to bring Carla home. Since it was created in 2001, Spotlight on Crime has offered more than $1.4 million in rewards for 30 cases. The organization has paid out more than $200,000 in rewards to people who have provided information to help solve those crimes. Anyone with information that will help us find Carla is urged to contact the Wadena Police Department at 218-631-7700 or the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension at 877-996-6222 or 651-793-7000, or you can email us at bca.tips@state.mn.us. You know, I'm just going to be closed by saying that this reward, and as her family and the chief has noted here today, it's been 40 years. It's our responsibility as a society, as a community, for all of us in Minnesota to take care of those vulnerable in our communities. And today it's our responsibility for somebody to come forward, either through this reward or with information, to provide that key piece of evidence so that we can find Carla and bring her home. Thank you, and with that, the chief will open some questions.